Yeah, good morning everyone. Hope everyone is doing well and hope everyone is preparing well. Welcome to Vijay Mohan IAS Academy, and we are in the module of TSPSC Group 1 Mains Paper 4 video course and test series exclusively for English medium students. And in the discussion we are discussing chapter 1 of the part 1, that is Indian economy and development. Chapter 1 is related to national income and other related issues, and in the previous video we had a discussion about structure and growth of Indian economy, sectoral trends in national income of India. See, previously we had a discussion about some of the topics related to structure and growth of Indian economy. In this video I will be continuing that discussion, but before going further I will first remind you what are the discussions that we made in the previous video briefly. So we had a discussion about what are the probable areas of questions that are being framed in the syllabus. First one is structural transformation, then nature and structural transformation of Indian economy, and then we had a discussion about this one also, structural transformation, and we had a discussion about this nature of structural transformation in Indian economy in terms of contribution of sectoral contribution of income to national income and nature of change in occupational structure. We also had a discussion about this, and we solved some of the previous year questions related to this and how to approach those questions also, because my entire stress will be on the how you have to approach your mains examination, how you have to approach the questions which will be asking in the examination, right? Then we had a discussion about Kuznets-Clark hypothesis, what is Kuznets-Clark hypothesis and what it is saying and what is the elements it is trying to say as far as development discourse of an economy is concerned. And we have seen some of the issues in Kuznets-Clark hypothesis, right? And we also saw a declining share of agriculture sector in national income, how India had become from agriculture predominant country to service dominated economy, right? These issues we have seen. We had a discussion about one of the questions related to structural transformation in the Indian economy. Here we have stopped. From here we will take through, right? We will see this question. Based on our discussion, we will solve this previous question which is asked in APPSC 2011, right? What is the question? Explain the important sectoral changes in post-independence Indian economy with respect to income and workforce. See, here he is asking about sectoral changes with respect to two things, income and workforce. To solve this question, you need to first give a brief account or brief about structural changes in the economy. You just try to write a general sense, what is the meaning of structural changes in an economy, right? Then explain structural changes in Indian economy in terms of sectoral contribution to national income. See, here he is asking about income structural changes in terms of contribution of income or with respect to income. So you have to explain the structural changes in Indian economy in terms of sectoral contribution to national income. For example, you have to take agriculture sector. How agriculture sector from 1950-51, what is the situation or what is the contribution of agriculture sector to the total national income, right? Then you just take 2021 or 22, what is the contribution of agriculture sector in 2021-22? It is around 18%, right? So there is a drastic reduction here. It was nearly around more than 56%, right? There was a drastic reduction as far as agriculture contribution to the total national income is concerned. Then again you have to write about industrial sector. What is the contribution of industrial sector in 1951-52 and now 2021-22? You can take intermediate years also, like 1991-92, what is the contribution, right? Then you take services sector also, what is the contribution of services sector during 1950-51 and now to 2021-2022. So you have to clearly lay the picture that, and you also mention that the contribution of income from the agriculture sector has drastically reduced, whereas the contribution of income from the services sector has improved compared to the other sectors. So Indian economy became from agricultural dominated country to tertiary sector or services sector dominated country. In this manner you have to explain the second aspect, right? Then also explain occupational structural changes in the economy. Then again you have to, as he has given about workforce also, you need to explain about the occupational structural changes also in the same question, right? Again you take agriculture, industry and services sector, and you mention that compared to the changes in output or contribution of agriculture to the national income, the employment scenario has not reduced drastically in the agriculture sector. What I mean to say is that still 47% of workforce, Indian workforce, is still dependent on agriculture. So still, although agriculture contribution to the total income is less, as far as providing employment is concerned, still agriculture is dominating compared to other sectors. Then you can write about industrial sector, same thing. Then you can write about services sector, right? Then you can conclude accordingly by saying that in the 70 decades after independence, Indian economy has traversed from agriculturally dominated economy to services dominated economy. However, in terms of providing work or in terms of providing employment, still agriculture is dominating, and there is a pressure on agriculture as far as creating employment is concerned, right? So in this way you can conclude. Now, we already saw that Indian economy in his development discourse has jumped from primary sector dominated to directly to tertiary sector or services sector dominated, right? So there is a rapid increase as far as tertiary sector is concerned, particularly after 1991 reforms, particularly after 1991 reforms, after introduction of LPG and other things, right? So what are the reasons for the rapid increase of tertiary sector in the Indian economy? See why? Because I am telling that there is a possibility that they might ask that explain or elucidate the reasons for rapid increase of tertiary sector in the Indian economy, and what are the reasons for that, and what are the consequences for the rapid increase of tertiary sector in the Indian economy. So if you observe the development discourse, you can see that the importance of tertiary sector in terms of its contribution to national income and slowly in terms of employment is also increasing. Even if you take the external sector also, like earning the foreign exchange reserves or creating the safe balance of payments, tertiary sector is playing a crucial role since 1990s. So it is very pertinent to study the importance of service sector for your examination point of view also. So first we will session declining share of agriculture. This is basically asked in APPSC 2012, APPSC 2012 Group 1 Mains. Declining share of agriculture sector in national income facilitated a rise in the rate of economic growth in India. Justify your answer. He is giving one sentence and he is telling it is true. You need to justify this answer. This justify your answer means you have to mandatorily justify this. You should not critically evaluate or you should not oppose the statement. You have to mandatorily justify the statement, right? What is the question? We will once again read it. Declining share of agriculture sector in national income. So there is a gradual or you can say rapid decline in the share of agriculture sector in the national income, and it facilitated a rise in the rate of economic growth in India. So because of the declining share of agriculture in the total income, he is telling that there is a rate of the rate of economic growth in India had risen. So the rate of economic growth of India had seen a rise. Justify your answer. So approach to this type of answer is that this particular question is that introduced by mentioning the importance of agriculture sector to total national income during the initial years of independence. First and foremost, you have to introduce that yes, agriculture has played a predominant role as far as Indian economy is concerned during the period or during immediately after the independence. For example, in 1951 and 52, the share of agriculture income to the total income is above 50% or 56 to 55 to 56% of the total income. This shows that immediately after the independence, agriculture sector played a predominant role. First, you introduce briefly by saying that Yes, agriculture sector is contributing more to the national income during the initial years of independence. However, explaining the declining trend of share of agriculture sector in the national income. However, after 2 or 3 decades, the contribution of agriculture sector drastically reduced, and now in during 2020s or 2021 2022, the contribution from the agriculture sector has reduced to around 20%. If you don't know the exact number, then you can give the approximate number, it will be sufficient. Okay, now it is around 20%, right? So also explain the effect of above trend. So there is a reduction in the contribution of agriculture income to the national income that you have established in 2 paragraphs. Now you are going to the next level. Also explain the effect of the above trend on industry and tertiary sectors. So what is the effect of this reduction of agriculture income on industrial and tertiary sectors? How you are going to establish that relationship? So effect of above trend on industry and tertiary sectors in terms of freed up labor. So this has freed up labor, particularly it has not freed up labor in a larger sense, but somehow it has given scope for the labor moving from agriculture sector to other sectors. So that is what freed up labor, freed up capital, and improved productivity in the other sectors, and improved value addition in the other sectors, also improved export earnings, foreign exchange, and generating income to the general population, and thereby contributing to a rise in the rate of economic growth in India, and thereby contributing to a rise in the rate of economic growth in India. If you want to give facts to this, you can mention that during the 1950s, 1960s, and 1970s, if you observe, the share of agriculture is more around 50%, 40%, and 40%, and the growth rate of Indian economy is around 3.5%, 4%, 3.5%, right, approximately. This is the growth rate. And after the 1980s and 1990s and 2000s, as the agriculture income is reducing to 30%, 25%, and 20%, the growth rate of Indian economy has increased to 5.5%, 6.5%, and 7%, like that. Then you can show the difference or the analogy between these two, or then you can establish the relationship between the reduced agricultural income contribution to the total income to the increased growth rates of Indian economy as a whole. So like that you have to establish and conclude accordingly by saying that yes, the agriculture played a predominant role. However, the decrease in the share of agriculture sector in the national economy facilitated more growth rate or rapid growth rate of Indian economy in a general sense, right? This is how you need to approach as far as this type of questions are concerned. Then try to solve this question, practice question. What is the question? Evaluate. Now we will see another important aspect as far as development discourse of Indian economy is concerned, and which is having the probability of asking in the mains examination. Right? What is that? Difference in development paradigms. So if you observe the development discourse of India, there is a perceptible difference as far as development journey of India and development journey of other Western nations are concerned. What are those differences? How it has deviated? What are the reasons for that? We will see. Right? Now see, Western economies. First we will observe the Western economies, how their development discourse happened, and then we will see the Indian economy. Then we will be able to understand the total picture. Right? Then Western economies, there is a shift from primary sector to secondary sector. There is a shift from primary sector to secondary sector. In advanced stage, it experiences a significant shift to tertiary sector. So first there will be a primary sector to secondary sector shift. Then there will be a development of industrialization, and after industrialization has matured, then there will be a significant shift to tertiary sector. See what happens during the initial times of development, the labor from the primary sector will move to secondary sector because of the technical, because of the industrial revolution, and because of the increase in productivity, and because of the increase in efficiency, and because of the increase in wages, all because of all this in the secondary sector, the workers will move from primary sector to secondary sector during the initial phases of development, and because of that movement there was increase in the industrial production, and there was increase in the goods produced by the industries, right? And there was also increase in the urbanization, and because of all this the per capita income and the purchasing power of the workers will increase. So in the initial development phases there will be a shift or movement of importance from primary sector to secondary sector, that after some maturation or after the industrialization reached its crescendo or reached its highest point, then there will be a significant shift to the tertiary sector, right? This is the basic development discourse happened in the western countries. This enabled them to transfer growing labor force from primary to secondary sector, as we have discussed. And based on our discussion, I have given one practice question. Try to practice this question. The composition of India's gross domestic product has undergone structural changes over the last 7 decades. So over the last 7 decades, he is saying that the composition of India's GDP has undergone structural changes, right? Now he is telling, evaluate India's experience and analyze whether it has deviated from the western pattern. Here he is asking two things. One is you need to evaluate the India's experience as far as structural changes are concerned, and second one, you need to analyze whether it has deviated from the western pattern, right? And conclude accordingly. So try to practice this question, right? So this is the end of the first chapter, that is national income. Then we will be having a test on this chapter. I will be uploading the test questions or test paper in the app. Then you try to write the answer and upload your scripts in the app. Then I will evaluate, right? Okay, this is the end of first chapter. We will see in the next video. Thank you.